Hey, what's up, amigos? So, the beta is ending very soon, and as sad as I am about it, I was thinking if we could make a full blown meme build work. So, this is just a theory craft, and please understand it's not my intention for this build to work and be good at all. But the whole intention of this build is just to have fun. With the beta ending, let's have some fun. Now, with that being said, I'll be honest, it takes a very specific set of aspects or legendaries to possibly work. And on paper, this build may work. This build is a one button basic skill build. Our basic skill of choice is Storm Strike. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to go ahead and throw 5 points into Storm Strike. We're going to put 1 point into Enhanced Storm Strike, which gives us the 15% chance to immobilize all enemies. And then we're going to go on the Fierce Storm Strike, which gives us a 50% chance to make enemies vulnerable. So, if you haven't played Druid and you don't know what Storm Strike is, this skill chains up to 3 enemies. It also gives us a 25% damage reduction after dealing damage with Storm Strike. So now we're going to go ahead and lead into our core skills or our spirit skills. We're going to go ahead and take 3 into Instinct. This gives us a critical strike chance against close enemies increased by 9%. We are going to need anything and all for this build. So stack crit damage, stack vulnerable damage, and yeah, I mean, this is the whole thing is supposed to be some weird melee chain lightning druid build. Moving on to our defensives, we are going to take a point in the Cyclone Armor. We are going to take Enhanced Cyclone Armor and Preserving Cyclone Armor. So, Cyclone Armor gives us a 20% non-physical damage reduction. With the aspect that we're also going to be using, we get a 20% physical damage reduction. So, if my math is correct, that means we have a 20% global damage reduction. And with Preserving, while inflicting incoming damage every 10 seconds, we gain additional 30% damage reduction, adding up to 50% damage reduction every 10 seconds, added on top to our already 25% that we're getting from Storm Strike. We're going to be taking 3 points into Ancestral Fortitude, which gives us non-physical resistances. I don't know why they can't just say elemental resistances. This is absolutely absurd to me, but non-physical resistances by 15%. No companions here. This is a one button build, so we do not need a companion. Now onto our Wrath skills. Here, we are going to be taking 1 point into Elemental Exposure. Storm skills have a 20% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 1 second on our lucky hit. Our lucky hit percentage by base is 25% with Storm Strike. We are going to be taking Charged Atmosphere mainly because it's a prereq, but every 18 seconds, a lightning strike hits a nearby enemy for 45 damage. God basically smites people randomly every 18 seconds. We are going to be taking 3 points into Electric Shock. Again, lucky hit. Dealing lightning damage to enemies has a 15% chance to immobilize them for 3 seconds. We already have a 15% chance on hit to immobilize. The real thing that I like about this is if the target is already immobilized, the lightning damage dealt to them is increased by 15% instead. We are then taking 2 points in the Bad Omen, which is another lucky hit. Up to 10% chance upon lucky hits when dealing damage to a vulnerable, immobilized, or stunned enemy, that a lightning strike will also deal 55% damage. This is basically just static shock, I guess. Who knows? We're going to take 2 points into that, which gives us a 20% chance. We are going to move into our ultimates now, and again, it's a one button build. We're not taking any ultimate. we're going to be taking 1 point into Defiance, and then 1 point over into Natural Disaster, or 2 points into Natural Disaster rather. Your storm skills deal 8% increased damage to enemies that are stunned, immobilized, or knocked back. So, as you can imagine, the whole thing around this build is just holding left click with Storm Strike, stacking up Immobilize, and stacking up damage modifiers for vulnerable targets and immobilized targets. In my other builds, I have put up in the past stats to look for, like the offensive affixes and defensive affixes. I'll do that as well. I also, in my other builds, have put up the leveling process for my builds, but I'm going to tell you right now, do not level with this monstrosity of a build. Leveling a druid, people have been complaining about to begin with, which, by the way, I didn't have a single problem leveling my druid. My Earthbender build took me 225 so fast, I don't know what everybody's gripe is. Anyways, the real thing about this build are the aspects that we're going to be using. This is what I think would really make or break a build. So, for our first aspect that we're going to be looking for is Aspect of the Inner Calm. Dealing percentage increased damage for each second that you stand still, up to 30%. This is the one button build. We are going to stand still and left click all the time. On top of that, we don't have another button to press. So, we sit still, we spread our vulnerable with our static and chain lightning, and we always have 30% increased damage. We are also looking for Edge Master's aspect. Where is Edge Master's? There it is. Skills deal up to 24% increased damage based on your available primary resource when cast, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. Since this is a weird meme build, we are always going to have max primary resource because we use a basic skill. That means this is another 24%, potentially double that, 50% of that if you put it on an amulet, 100% if you put it on a two-hand. So either way, we're going to be stacking up more percentage damage, 24% or more. We're going to be using an additional lucky hit aspect. We have another 10% chance when dealing lightning damage to overload the target for 3 seconds, causing any direct damage you deal to them to pulse a number of additional damage to surrounding enemies. This will allow us to potentially just AoE clear even more. For our last offensive aspect, we are absolutely going with Rapid Aspect. Basic attacks gain 23% attack speed. This can go up to as high as 66%, I believe, on a two-hander. This is just a must-have since all we're doing is spamming our basic attack. For our defensives, we go with Aspect of Cyclonic Force. This is what gives us our physical damage reduction that I was talking about earlier. And if you decide to play in a party with this wonky meme build, you can also apply that and all your Cyclone armor benefits to all nearby allies. We're also going to go ahead and take Aspect of the Might, which basic skills grant 25 additional damage reduction for 4 seconds, and I don't think I need to explain this over again. I mean, we're just stacking damage reduction, we're stacking percentage damage. Again, on paper, this build looks kind of good, right? I don't have all the pieces that I need. I'm trying to get all the pieces before the beta ends tomorrow. If anybody has all these pieces, please feel free to try the build out. Let me know how it is in the comment. Let everybody know how it is in the comment, because I'm super curious. As soon as I played with Stormstrike day one, I was like, wow, this basic skill is probably the best basic skill that I've seen so far in Diablo 4. So, that's what birthed this whole idea. the last defensive that we're using, the last aspect really, because the utility and resource, they're really not as needed, but the last defensive one is Crowded Sage. This heals us for so and so life per second for each close enemy. This is insane. I have one on my druid that gives me like 47 life per second. Super good. So yeah, that's all for this absolute meme build. Again, I am super eager to get the pieces myself to try it out. I hope I do piece them all together before the beta ends. It would be wonderful if it worked. And yeah, here are those affixes to look out for as promised. And I hope you all had a great weekend with the open beta build, testing the classes of your choice. I would love to hear what your favorite class and build was in the beta, or what you planned on playing for release. So comment down below with that information. If you enjoy the content and want to see more of this leading up to and after full release, don't forget to like and subscribe, as Diablo 4 will be the main focus on the channel for the foreseeable future. I will be going about and planning out some level 40 and 50 builds, and maybe dabbling with the Paragon up here. I'm not quite sure. I really don't think this is done at all, but if people want to see that, I will gladly do it. Go ahead and comment down below if you would like to see that. And until next time, amigos, take care.